This call is now being recorded.
What's up, everybody? My name is Emmy, and I am the host of Chats with the Freak by M2 Media. Today I have Jenny Teator on, who just released her new single, Daughter of the Devil. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing all right. I'm staying in there on this Thanksgiving week, getting everything ready for that.
Good.
So you just released this new single, Daughter of the Devil. Can you tell me a little bit about the track?
Yeah. So this one was definitely more, it didn't really have like a deep meaning to it at all. I wrote it with another artist in Nashville. His name's Drew Dixon, and we came into the ride. I told him, I was like, you know what? I just really want to write like a crowd participation song, high energy, just like badass vibes. And he's like, well, I have this title, Daughter of the Devil, I've been sitting on. I'm like, excuse me? I was like, that's perfect. I fell in love with it. And we kind of just wrote it from there. There's like I said, there's no really deep meaning to it other than we just wanted to create this like fictional story about this girl who was raised by the devil per se, but really just in the video you see he's just kind of a bad guy. And she's just raised by him in a way that she's like the devil in disguise, basically. And she's kind of a man-pleasing teaser and just badass that, you know, people think she's a saint, but deep down she's really not. And the video definitely portrays that storyline there. So it's fun. It's just fun to sing like and belt out the chorus in your car. And that was kind of the goal, was just to have this just like fun song to sing.
Yeah, I checked out the song obviously a couple days ago, and I thought the video of it was so much fun. Like, I thought it was really well put together and it fit the song. And like you said, the song is it has like an anthem quality to it, and I love that.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. It's just like, I just wanted people to be like, hell yeah, you know, and just blare it in your car. So, and the
yeah, it's like one of those songs that you hear and it's like, okay, I'm going to turn up the volume now and like just start headbanging at the red light. The cop catches you and it's like, well, I'm going to keep on what I'm doing now.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And especially that vocal hook that starts it off. Like, I love songs that do that, and I was kind of harnessing that technique there, and it's just kind of like where everyone can sing that, you know. So it was fun.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a lot of fun. Now, I did notice that you're originally from St. Louis, but you're in Nashville right now. That song definitely had a little bit of a Nashville like vibe to it, and I mean that in a very good way, because lately I've been borderline obsessing over the Nashville music scene, because there's amazing artists like you that are down there, and I love everything that's going on in Nashville right now.
Oh yes, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Nashville, and a lot of people too. It's like, especially if you don't live in Nashville, they're like, "Oh, you're a country artist. You live in Nashville." I'm like, "No, not at all. Actually,
yeah.
far from it." And Nashville is stereotypically known, obviously, as like a country scene. It was a huge country scene, and it still is, but it has changed. Like, it has grown and flourished, and there's a huge rock scene. There's a great pop scene here, and it's just become this melting pot of genres, which is amazing, I think. And country is still very much strong here, but I don't know. It's become a community here and very supportive and welcoming to any genre, and it's been growing exponentially like that. So it's pretty cool to see and be a part of too.
Yeah, like I was one of those people until earlier this year that was like, oh, Nashville, it's just all like country music and Dolly Parton. Like that was me earlier this year. And then I met this band called True Villains. It's a rock band from down there. And following them. Oh, you do? That's awesome. Yeah, I met them when they were touring with Steel Panther.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're good people. Like, we're about to play a show together, and we're just friends. That's awesome. They're killer. Sorry.
I love them. They are so good, and they're such nice guys too, which I love that. And I kind of like just following like their Instagram and stuff on social media. I was like, oh my God, like why is like this a hidden rock scene in Nashville right now? This is insane. Like, I need to make a trip down there next year and just see the scene down there, because I'm like I said, I've been borderline obsessing over it, because I'm like, why is all the rock bands hiding in Nashville?
Yeah, I know. I I don't know. I mean, and I think it's more like they're emerging in Nashville too. It's like, and touring a lot. But actually, if you want, like in February, we're all sharing a bill and we're doing like a total just like rock and roll badass night lineup, in town in February next year, and I'm super excited. They're going to share the bill with us along with 2 other awesome rock bands. But I don't know. It's definitely flourishing here, and I think people are paying attention. It's so cool to see. So I love it.
Yeah, I love that. So, obviously, like I said earlier, you are a native of St. Louis. How did you get started in music? Was it just something that you've always kind of done, or was there something that kind of like sparked your interest in it?
So I've always been a singer. That was definitely my first thing. I was raised in choir. I went to choir and from like 6th grade through high school, and I loved to sing. And in high school when I was 15, I was like, you know what, I want to accompany myself. I kept seeing people play guitar, so I bought my first like cheap Fender guitar and just kind of taught myself how to play rhythm. And from there I learned, okay, now I kind of want to write. And I started writing and experimenting with recording some terrible written songs that I actually just dug up the other day. Oh my gosh, it's so funny to see the progress. But you know, I was 15, angsty, and just, you know, I thought I knew what love was, all this stuff. But from there, I continued to just keep playing and writing. And in college, I joined my first band, and which was a 90s cover band, actually. But like from there, I was asked to play a show during a blues festival out there. I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I need to start writing some originals. So I grabbed some of the bandmates from that band, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to be in a band with me? And they're like, hell yeah. So I had a band there for about 5 years, and we were called Jenny Teator and the Fevers, and it was awesome. And that's really where I got my start on any type of band and songwriting artist career. And I was ready to take it to the next level outside of the college town. I went to college at Columbia, Missouri, so at Mizzou. And that's when I moved here to do that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So would you say like staying in the Nashville scene, as we were talking about earlier, has helped not necessarily improve your songwriting, but maybe help you look at it in a different way?
Oh, absolutely. Both. I mean, improve. I came here because I knew I needed to grow as a songwriter, improve, like all of that stuff. I needed to learn from the best, and that just wasn't going to happen in Columbia, Missouri, like at all. And no offense to Columbia, Missouri, but it was just, you know, we reached a ceiling that we could not go any further there. And it's just like, you got to go to the place that I realized you needed to go, you know, outside of your comfort zone to grow and do that. And the resources are here. The first thing that I did when I got here was I applied before I moved to a songwriting retreat, led by Judy Stakey. And she's been in the industry for about 30 years. She like grew Sheryl Crow and Katy Perry, the Civil Wars, and like she worked at Warner forever. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to start there, and learn from someone who knows what they're talking about. And I got in and did that when I first moved here, and it was incredible. I learned a lot from that and just kind of kept writing with different artists in town, and grew my network that way. But absolutely being in an area that's saturated by those resources and different and new experiences with songwriting is how I improved and will continue to.
Yeah, that definitely, it changes your thinking when you're in an area where it's saturated and you're kind of living it, rather than in a place where it might not be so common to be like a songwriter. Not saying that Nashville's oversaturated with it, but definitely when you're surrounded with people that share the same passion that you do, it makes it easier to grow.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. We're all here to do the same thing. So, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we're all here to do the same thing. So it's just like everyone's more willing to help than you think, I guess, moving here, because it could be really intimidating. But everyone here is so supportive of one another, which is awesome. You don't find that in a lot of music scenes. So, yeah.
No, definitely not. That's the one thing that because I travel a lot doing my photography stuff because I'm a band photographer too. And going into different scenes, I can definitely tell just by the photographer standpoint that like Pittsburgh is a very welcoming scene, like in the photography area, but there's other areas that really kind of don't, like the Maryland into Reading, PA area they're kind of standoffish and not so willing to be friendly. So I definitely get what you mean on the front of music scenes being different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you obviously released a single. Is that part of an album? Are you working on releasing it part of that, or is it kind of a single for right now?
It is part of an album. We are releasing, I think, 1 or 2 more singles before we release the rest of the album, but we are in the works of an album for 2020, and I'm so excited about it. I just came back from Boston recording the next single, so that should be out probably beginning of March. So
that's great. That's great. I'm really excited to hear how the rest of this. So when I listened to this song, I heard my own I associated it with a couple different people. One being Alanis Morissette. It gave me a little bit of a vibe from her. So I'm kind of curious on who your inspirations are, because I got a bunch of different stuff just from that one track.
Yeah. Love Alanis. That's awesome. 2 of the biggest probably influences, especially for this track, probably 3. The Black Keys, Grace Potter, and Dorothy. Dorothy's definitely she uses a lot of the vocal hooks in her songs, and I wanted to incorporate that because I love it. I mean, it's catchy, and it just came to mind. Like, I think just by listening to her, it wasn't like an act of like, she does vocal hooks, I want to do a vocal hook. It was just like, in the making of it, I was like, wouldn't it be cool? It just came out, and I was like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. And then Grace Potter, she's just like a goddess. I love Grace Potter. Her and she belts it out, and she's just like a rock star and gives killer performances on stage, live too, which is very similar to my own stuff. Like, I love the production and recorded stuff, but when I go and play live, it's very much a performance, and like, I'll set my guitar down and only sing and just get the crowd interacting and stuff. And she does a really good job of engaging with the crowd and keeping it lively, which is what I love to do. And there's definitely some Black Key vibes in there for sure with the synth. I mean, it was just a combination of a bunch of it, but yeah, I would say those are probably the top 3 for that track.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned you love to play shows. Do you have obviously every show has its own standout thing, but do you have any shows you've played maybe like recently or this year that's kind of like a standout one for you?
Let's see. I do a lot of like acoustic stuff. I mean, probably there's a place in town called Analog, and that was my first time playing there, and it's just a really nice, sexy, just intimate venue, but it's still big. There's like couches and like just like dark, like chandeliers and stuff. It's just like a really cool venue. That's actually where we're going to play in February for next year with the other rock bands. And there's a video on my YouTube that we got like a live performance done to Surrender, my first single that we put out. And you can kind of see the vibe in there, but it was such a fun show. There was a great crowd, and just like, it was the perfect, venue for what I like to do as well. That would probably be the one that stood out, for me. There's so many fun gigs that I've done. I don't know. It's hard because it's a mixture of like, I do some full band shows, but I also do a lot of house concerts and do acoustic tours as well. And those are right up there as well, because the people are right in front of you, and it's just super intimate, and just a different side of my full band stuff. It's completely different, but it's still me. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we're getting to the end of 2019. What does 2020 look for you on a front of new music, touring, maybe mixture of both?
Definitely a mixture of both. We have plans for the new music already set. touring with my full band is a goal, and I recently just signed with Red 13 Studios as a management and distribution deal and everything. I've been working with them from the start, and it just kind of made sense. But one of their big goals, he's like, we're getting you on tour in 2020, like full time. So, and that's been my goal from the start. It just kind of takes some time to build up, and it's like, I just started this year in January. So I think we're on track. We're doing pretty good, and I'm really excited to see what's going to come next, because we've got a lot of fun things up our sleeves. So
that's awesome. I'm excited to hear what you have coming out in 2020, and thank you for taking time to talk with me today, Jenny. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening in on another episode of Chats with the Freak. I hope to catch you next Freaky Friday.